village was still asleep when Aarav opened his eyes. Outside his small home, the first sounds of morning slowly appeared. A temple bell echoed through the cold air. Somewhere nearby, a woman drew rangoli in front of her house. The smell of incense drifted gently through the street. Aarav sat silently on his bed. His books were lying open beside him. His exam was only a few months away, but instead of studying, he picked up his phone. Just for 5 minutes, he told himself. 5 minutes became 30. 30 became an hour. And once again, the sun rose while his dreams quietly moved farther away. Aarav was known as one of the smartest boys in his town. His teachers believed he could become anything. His neighbors often told his parents, "Your son will bring great honor to this family one day." His father worked long hours in a textile shop in the city. Every evening, exhausted and covered in dust, he returned home with tired eyes but hopeful dreams. His mother prayed daily before the small Krishna altar in their house. Every morning she whispered, "Please guide my son toward a bright future." Aarav wanted to become a doctor, not for money, not for status. He wanted to help his family escape years of struggle. But there was one battle he kept losing every single day, the battle inside his own mind. Whenever he sat down to study, his thoughts ran everywhere, sometimes toward social media, sometimes toward cricket videos, sometimes toward useless fantasies about becoming successful without effort. He kept telling himself, "I still have time. I'll start tomorrow. One day of rest won't matter." But deep inside, he already knew something was wrong. At night, while his parents slept peacefully after exhausting days of work, Aarav stayed awake staring at the ceiling. His mind felt heavy. Not because he lacked intelligence, but because he lacked control. Days passed, then weeks. Soon the results of the National Medical Entrance Examination practice test were announced. Aarav walked nervously toward the school notice board. Students crowded around it. Some were smiling, some were celebrating. Then Aarav found his name. His chest tightened. He had failed badly. Not just average, not just slightly below expectations. He had scored far lower than everyone believed he would. For a moment, the world around him became silent. He could hear only one thing, his own heartbeat. When he returned home that evening, he avoided looking into his father's eyes. His mother immediately understood something was wrong. "Beta, what happened?" Aarav forced a weak smile. "Nothing." But mothers always know. That night, while everyone slept, Aarav quietly walked outside and sat near the village temple. The moonlight touched the stone steps. Oil lamps flickered softly in the darkness. For the first time in his life, Aarav cried. Not because he failed an exam, but because he realized he was slowly destroying his own future. He whispered to himself, "Why can't I control my mind?" At that moment, an old voice spoke from behind him. "Because the mind is a wonderful servant, but a dangerous master." Aarav turned around. An elderly man in simple white clothes stood near the temple entrance. It was Master Dev. Many people in the village respected him deeply. Some said he had once been a professor. Others believed he had spent years studying ancient spiritual teachings in the Himalayas. But everyone agreed on one thing. His words changed people. Master Dev sat beside Aarav quietly. For a few moments, neither of them spoke. Then the old man asked gently, "What troubles you, my child?" Aarav looked down. "I'm failing in life." Master Dev smiled softly. "No, you are only failing to control your attention." Those words entered Aarav's heart like an arrow. For the next hour, Aarav told him everything. The distractions, the procrastination, the endless scrolling, the guilt, the fear, the disappointment. When he finished speaking, Master Dev nodded slowly. Then he asked, "Do you know the story of Arjuna?" Aarav nodded. "From the Mahabharata?" "Yes," Master Dev said. "But do you remember the lesson of the bird's eye?" Aarav stayed silent. The old man continued. One day, Guru Dronacharya asked his students to shoot the eye of a wooden bird hanging from a tree. He asked each student, "What do you see?" One student said, "I see the tree." Another said, "I see the sky." Another said, "I see the bird." But when Arjuna answered, he said, "I only see the eye of the bird." Master Dev looked directly into Aarav's eyes. That is why Arjuna became extraordinary. The temple bell rang softly in the distance. Then Master Dev said something Aarav would never forget. A distracted mind creates a distracted destiny. Aarav felt chills run through his body. For years he had blamed laziness, bad luck, stress, even pressure from society. But now he saw the truth. His real enemy was not outside him. It was the uncontrolled mind inside him. "Master, how do I change?" The old man smiled gently, slowly, patiently, and daily. Then he gave Aarav 4 teachings. First, protect your attention like a sacred thing. Every moment you waste carelessly becomes part of your future karma. Second, create discipline before motivation. People think successful people work harder because they feel motivated. No, they succeed because they continue even when they do not feel like it. Third, learn silence. The mind becomes powerful when it spends time away from noise. Fourth, offer your actions to God. Study not only for marks, study with devotion. Study to honor your parents. Study as part of your dharma. The night air felt different now. For the first time in months, Aarav felt hope. The next morning, before sunrise, Aarav woke up early. His mother looked shocked. "You're awake already?" Aarav smiled softly. "Yes, Ma." He bathed, lit a small diya before Krishna, and sat quietly for 5 minutes with his eyes closed. At first, meditation felt impossible. His thoughts jumped everywhere. But he remembered Master Dev's words. Do not fight the mind with anger. Train it with patience. So every day, he practiced. Slowly, he changed his routine. Phone away during study time. Fixed study hours. Morning meditation. Evening prayer. Short breaks. No useless scrolling before sleep. Some days he failed again. Some days, his old habits returned strongly. But this time, he did not quit, because now he understood something important. Discipline is not built in one perfect day. It is built in small victories, repeated again and again. Weeks passed, then months. One evening, Aarav's father returned home and quietly looked at him, studying with full concentration. For a moment, the tired man simply stood there silently. His eyes became emotional, because deep inside, he knew his son was changing, not only academically, spiritually. One afternoon, Aarav returned to the temple. Master Dev was feeding birds outside. "Master," Aarav said softly, "I still feel fear sometimes." The old man smiled. "That is normal." Then he pointed toward the sky. "Even the sun must face darkness every evening, but it always rises again." Aarav listened carefully. Master Dev continued, "Never ask life to become easier. Ask your mind to become stronger." Those words became Aarav's new prayer. Finally, the real medical entrance examination arrived. Students across the city filled the examination hall. Some were panicking, some were trembling with anxiety. But Aarav sat quietly, not because he knew every answer, but because, for the first time in his life, His mind was calm. Before opening the exam paper, he silently whispered, "Krishna, let me do my duty without fear." Then he began. Hours later, when the exam ended, Aarav walked outside peacefully. Whatever happened now, he knew he had already changed. The results came weeks later. That morning, his entire family gathered around the old computer in a small internet cafe. His father's hands trembled. His mother silently prayed. Aarav typed his roll number slowly. Then the screen loaded. For a few seconds, nobody spoke. Then his mother covered her mouth and started crying. Aarav had not only passed, he had ranked among the top students in the state. His father sat down quietly, overwhelmed with emotion. Years of sacrifice, years of struggle, suddenly felt meaningful. That evening, Aarav returned once more to the temple. The sky glowed orange as the sun disappeared behind the trees. Master Dev was already there, waiting. Aarav touched his feet respectfully. "Thank you, Master." But the old man smiled and shook his head. "Do not thank me. You were always capable. You simply learned how to guide your mind instead of being dragged by it." The temple bells echoed once more. Then Master Dev spoke his final words. "The uncontrolled mind leads a man toward suffering, but a disciplined mind can carry him toward peace, purpose, and destiny." Years later, Aarav would become a doctor. Many people admired his intelligence, but deep inside, he knew the real reason behind his success. Not talent, not luck, not even hard work alone. It was the moment he stopped being a servant to his restless mind and started becoming its master. So if today your mind feels tired, distracted, or lost, remember this: your future is not destroyed by one big failure. It is slowly shaped by the small habits you repeat every day. Protect your attention, train your mind, and trust the process. And never forget, even the wildest horse can learn to walk toward the light. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring spiritual stories. Until next time, stay patient, stay grateful, and keep moving forward.